The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual co-host and do not reflect the official policy or position of the Firearms Radio Network and or their employers. Viewer discretion is advised. This is especially true on our live shows.
Broadcast for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. This is the Firearms Radio Network. The bandwidth for this episode of This Week in Guns is sponsored by Patriot Patch Company. PatriotPatch.co.
Welcome to This Week in Guns. This show is brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network and Patriot Patch Company.
And this show offers commentary on the latest firearms industry news, information, and buzz. I'm your host, Sean Herron. It's my pleasure to introduce our panelists tonight. First up, we've got the Joshes. They're the founders of Black Diamond Guns and Gear, a YouTube and Facebook live stream. They also run Black Diamond Holsters. Please welcome Josh Courtney and Josh Hutchinson. Welcome, guys.
What's up?
I think your headphones are on wrong. Try to put them on maybe your arm. I think that'll.
I think this is how it's supposed to go.
Yes, that's much better. Next up, we've got Air Force veteran, licensed clinical social worker working with veterans with serious mental illnesses. Please welcome Lisa Edwards.
Hey.
How's it going? Welcome to the show, everyone.
Thank you.
As far as I know, this is the first time all you guys have been on, right?
Yes.
Yes. This is our very first time.
First time on here for sure. Yep.
All right, fantastic. I'll be taking your This Week in Guns virginity. My name's Sean. I will be gentle. I promise. Before we get into it, guys, let's just hear from our advertisers. First up is Patriot Patch Company. Excellent Patch of the Month Club. They just did a Space Force patch that I pre-ordered as well. They did a bunch of Firefly and Serenity patches that I loved as well. And they're doing fantastic stuff. Whether you collect patches or you just like cool t-shirts that show that you're into the gun world, all of it's available at patriotpatch.co. Next up, we've got Manticore Arms. They make all kinds of comfort products for your rifles. And they are one of my favorites out there. The Transformer rail is something that I've been talking about for many years now, and it still is my favorite. I know they've got a lot of stuff coming down the pipe, and I'm actually very excited to do some things with my AK with some new products that they've been working on as well. So go check them out, manticorearms.com. Save 10% by using coupon code TWG10. Let's get right into it, guys. Josh Waldron has been named the head of Vista Outdoors Blackhawk line. And I don't know, do any of you guys remember Josh Waldron?
I don't, but I know who Silencer Co. is.
Yes.
Yes. So Josh was the CEO of Silencer Co. He really pushed the Hearing Protection Act, which basically made everyone stop buying silencers while they were waiting for the legislation to push through that has not pushed through and very likely will not push through. And he left the company, whether by force or by choice, is unknown. But now he's heading up the company's Blackhawk business unit. Kind of interesting to me. He went from kind of being a rock star there to, in my opinion, Blackhawk doesn't have the best rep in the industry. So to me, it seems like a step down. Anyone have thoughts on that?
Yes, I 100% agree. Running a holster company, a Kydex holster company, I would have to say that I would rather let somebody shit on my face than to be wearing a Uncle Mike's or Blackhawk holster.
Wow. That is a very bold stand. And Tony,
sorry, Ken. You're going to have to bleep that one. But
yeah.
That's ridiculous, man. I mean, good for him. If he's making more money, cool and everything. I mean, I guess that's what it's all about, right? Because that's what we do the YouTube for.
Yeah.
No, I mean, but if he's getting more money and it makes him happy and he feels good about hanging out with some Blackhawks all day long, that's cool.
I don't know. So I mean, I've had Blackhawks in the past. I don't have Blackhawks now. I don't have anything against them per se. And Vista Outdoor, they've been in the news quite a bit lately. So I guess we'll see where it goes and how it goes. It's going to be interesting going from, the top 50 fastest growing companies for 6 consecutive years to kind of just a big corporation, Blackhawk, obviously, large monolithic behemoth organization that's going to kind of probably move pretty slow and not make a whole lot of changes. So
I personally don't like Blackhawks. So
I personally don't love them. I will agree with that. All right. Well, that's enough time on that nonsense. The next one is an interesting story. British SF soldier kills 6 Taliban, 3 with a hammer in pitch black, Viet Cong style tunnel fight. This comes to us from militarytimes.com. I put this in just because this guy is a baller of the highest order. and they basically wiped out a place, and then a bunch of guys, or 6 guys to be specific, they went into some tunnels. They couldn't get any of the Afghan commandos to volunteer to go in, so he went in. It was very tight quarters. All he took was his Glock. He was able to effectively eliminate 3 of those threats with his Glock. Then apparently the gun jammed, which
I don't know if I believe that.
I'm calling fake news because I thought the Glock's never jammed.
I'm going to say that he ran out of bullets in that Glock is what I'm going to try to say. Because
that could be too, but apparently he had a claw hammer, and he finished eliminating the other 3 threats with the claw hammer. Came out, and honestly, it says at the very last line, for at least an hour after returning above ground, soldier was unable to speak due to his level of distress. And I can totally, completely imagine that. So first off, I want to cover, yes, this is a pretty amazing feat in any means. And I can't even imagine how friggin' scary and just annoying that must have been.
Well, but how resilient do you have to be? I think it said, 30 minutes to an hour to bounce back from that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Well, I've never been shot at before. Josh, I don't know if you have or not. I mean, it's not in the bio, right, but he is actually a veteran.
Yes.
But I've never been in that situation. I don't even know how I would, you can train as much as you want, but you never know what's going to happen to you actually.
Well, like she said, I mean, to be able to bounce back, I mean, like that, I mean, it's, you got to think of the good and the bad, and that's what resiliency is.
Yeah, go ahead, Lisa.
So you revert to your training the entire time, you're just in that mode, but then afterwards to be able to talk after an hour and to just go on like nothing happened. That's amazing.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm like, how do you even train for that? Is it like dig dug, like a marathon?
Well,
dig dug, or? Let's have a hammer.
They said that he was in a hole that was like basically no bigger than his body, correct?
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was a big area. It was just and it was pitch black. He had to crawl around to find the guys. I don't know, man. That's balls and all kinds of stuff.
It is impressive. I'm honestly shocked that anyone would A, volunteer to do that, and B, come out so effectively on the other end. So, congrats to that guy. Mad respect for him.
I am gonna say though, I'm glad he was carrying a Glock.
It's probably one of those Norinco Glock clones,
I don't.
China right now.
It literally says in the article that it jammed after he took out the first 3 guys. So, and if you were going in a hole, wouldn't you put like all the Glock mags in your pockets? Dude, I put it like three Glock mags or 3 mags for whatever firearm I'm carrying in my car just to go outside. Like
exactly, yeah. I mean, people carry appendix. I carry with one in my pocket because I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a little bit of a heftier guy here.
Fluffy.
I carry with one in my pocket, and I really like Neo mags, man. I think they're really cool. I haven't got one yet. Do you have one?
I don't actually, but I did meet the guys from Neo Mag at the Gun Collective panel in Dallas, and I was supposed to follow up with them, or they were going to follow up with me. I don't remember. Either way, I heard they're pretty cool.
I didn't meet him either. Damn it! I'm just all over the place, missing all kinds of people.
Yeah, they were there. You missed me. He must have been when they were talking to us.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Next up, comedian Jerry Lewis. His gun collection is up for auction. He did pass away, and his gun collection is up for auction. I did not know that he was a gun guy. Looks like he liked revolvers, shotguns, and Beretta pistols, and they are all basically pistol grip, no stock shotguns, and kind of interesting. Thoughts on this? Don't everyone jump all at once.
I'm trying not to hog the mic because if you let me go, I'll talk all freaking night long.
I mean, pistol grip, no stock shotguns.
Yeah.
I mean, was
he a gangster? No, but there was like six or 8 Mossbergs in there, right? Like Mossberg 500 style shotguns.
Yeah, all kinds.
So no Glocks, nothing I'd be interested in.
There was one Glock. There was
a Glock.
And I'm pretty sure it being that old was a Gen 1. Had to be, right?
Okay.
Looks like it, yeah. And then he had one of those tiny little North American Arms Derringer style revolvers. I have one of those. I love that.
Crap ton of J frames, right?
Yeah.
But the one Glock didn't have a mag with it, so.
Jeez. Ridiculous.
So one Gen 1 with no mag.
Malfunctioned.
Right. Yeah, he threw it away. This is the We Hate Glock show, apparently. Now, Lisa, would you be interested in owning like a celebrity's gun after they passed away?
I like all so sure. Yeah. I don't know that I pay extra just because it was a celebrity's gun, though.
If the price is right? I think that's with everybody.
Yeah,
Right.
no, I'm with you 100%. Like I don't really care who owned it. I just care that it's a gun that I can shoot. I don't buy guns that I can't shoot. I don't buy guns that are way overpriced because whoever looked at it one day or whatever. I learned my lessons on Seinfeld when what did they get? James Woods pencil or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just like, first of all, Jerry Lewis is awesome. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's a comedian, right?
Yeah.
I didn't really grow up with his comedic style. So when it said Jerry Lewis, I thought of the musician at first. Jerry Lee Lewis is what I was thinking of.
Oh yeah, I had to actually go look to make sure I didn't get this all wrong. No, it was the comedian. I just can't imagine him popping out with one of those like sawed off shorty Mossbergs and saying, "Hey, lady."
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. To me, it's just like, oh, cool. Yeah, no, as long as they're guns and the price is right, I'm down.
He had a very distinct taste. Like he liked a very specific style of things. You could tell that he actually put some care into the collection.
Well, not very many semi-automatic anything, right? Just that Glock. I mean, that's the only thing I could see. I saw a lot of revolvers, a lot of shotguns.
Now there's a lot of those little pocket pistols that are semi-auto, but other than that, not much.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those. Okay, yeah.
All right, that's the end of the positive-ish news, and now let's move into some news. And this one's actually tough. I honestly just added this one just because it's ridiculous. Home invaders hold 7-year-old boy underwater during home invasion. So, some guys break into people's house. They torture and beat up the dad, who is apparently a small business owner who had a lot of cash in the house. When he won't cough up the cash, they take his son, 7 years old, and start drowning him in the bathtub while his parents had to watch. Like, I just don't understand what is wrong with people, and they have not caught these people yet. And man, this is like a whole new twist.
That is probably one of the craziest things I've heard in a while, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, It sounds like something out of The Equalizer or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a movie. I don't even know what to say about it. Lisa, do you have thoughts on this one?
As a parent, I just can't imagine experiencing that or what you would even do. I don't know that I could just sit there and watch that, though. Even if it meant losing my life, I can't just sit there and watch my kid get drowned.
No, and there is a video, and you can hear the water running, you can hear the kid yelling out, and then you can hear, like starting to drown, and you hear the parents screaming, and man.
Dude, I don't know. Okay, I've always said this, like, if I'm going down and I'm going out like a freaking rocket, dude. I'm gonna
go down fighting.
Yeah, I'm gonna bite down on somebody's balls if my hands are tied. I'm gonna, try to do anything I can to get out of the situation I'm in. So even if I'm tied up or whatever, dude, I will be running, on my knees trying to get. And I don't even have any kids, man. I just have a dog. I just have an English bulldog. So
yeah,
but you would do it for that dog.
Exactly. I mean, I would try my best to get to whatever I could. Like I said, if I was biting somebody's nuts or whatever, that's what I would be doing.
You talked about that quite a bit now.
Hey, yeah, I might. No.
I'm like, maybe don't put yourself in that position there, Josh.
He's thinking different
podcast. Sorry, different podcast.
No, but yeah, seriously, this is really tough. And even the cops are like, I've never seen anything like this in my career. The sheriff said, and I do hope they catch these guys because these are guys who have no F's to give.
Still not caught, by the way.
Still not caught.
Wow. Who did they set on fire? Did you say they set somebody on fire?
I don't think so.
I thought I heard that.
No, that was another story.
Yeah, I was like, what? Yeah. They set him on fire too?
The fire
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one.
The chief of the fire department.
Oh yeah. That is
that's right. Later.
Next story.
I'm wondering if the family was a Pro 2A family.
Yeah, I don't know. It did say that he was a small business owner and that he did have a lot of cash, but this all went on because he wouldn't cough up the cash. So just trying to kind of read between the lines a little bit. Yeah, I don't know.
I would say he's probably not. I would imagine if it got that far, it's probably not a 2A person. I mean, like I said, you got to have that mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like that fight or flight mentality or whatever you want to call it. You got to have that. I don't know.
Totally, the warrior mindset. But look, in movies, it takes seconds for things to happen. People have a little bit of time to make decisions. And we see it coming for, however many minutes they've been foreshadowing the issue, that we hear the suspenseful music come. We know something's about to happen. In real life, that doesn't happen. That door gets kicked open in an instant if you don't have your gun on you, which, I mean, I honestly, like, who carries their guns in their waistband at home all the time?
Weren't they sleeping though?
It could have been. I didn't see that detail.
I carry my gun every night at home.
Yeah.
Just like on you.
Yes, in my actual waistband until I go either take a crap or take a shower or go to bed.
Nice. Well, those Black Diamond holsters must be very comfortable.
They are awesome. You should get one. I'll send you one.
I love it. The Washington Post reports FBI active shooter study says mental health is not the cause of active shooters and cites other common symptoms. I want to spend some time on this one because I read the article a couple times just to make sure that I could unpack most of the stuff in there. Because as most people on the right in the 2A community, whenever something happens, it's mental health, mental health, mental health, antidepressants. They're on antidepressants. We're making a nation full of zombies out of our children, violent video games, this and that, everyone's mental health. This is the unlikely 22% of them in the study from 2000 to 2013 actually had some kind of diagnosed mental health disorder. I mean, obviously you go into a place, you've got some screws loose in my opinion, but historically the big key factors that they were keying on is that there are warning signs in most of these cases, that other people see these warning signs and either don't do anything about it or don't do enough about it. I mean, like we saw in, where was it? Parkland, the entire system failed from start to finish. But I definitely want to get you guys' thoughts on this because I thought this was a very interesting article. And I'm glad to see this because I know we get these things stuck in our head and that's just what we regurgitate, that propaganda that we constantly hear. It's always mental health, always mental health. I've actually come out on our show, I don't know, maybe a month ago or so. And I said, mental health is a black hole. I don't think that there's anything there that we can solve. We need to start focusing on real things. That I don't know. That's my thought and what I believe. Lisa, I'd like to get your thoughts on this.
Well, mine's probably a little different because there were 5 things, weren't there? Mm-hmm. And one of it was premeditated. They talked about injuring someone. I can't remember all of them, but whenever working in mental health, an initial assessment, we do assess those things. That's part of your symptoms. So to hear it and to say, okay, well, we've had these 5 issues, because we're brushing under so much of these symptoms, people are just, okay, so if someone comes up to me and says, I'm going to kill someone, I'm going to look at it a lot different than most people because my training is different. Mm-hmm. Right. So I'm going to talk to them about it and hopefully get them help before they do something. But I'm going to take it very seriously. Mm-hmm. Whereas if 2 kids are talking about it, it's kind of like, well, they brush it off. Oh. So I think actually talking about what precautions do you take whenever you hear one of your friends say, I'm going to murder someone. Well, you need to kind of take it seriously because there are actually people doing it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Lisa, I'm so happy that you're here actually, because I have a lot of questions about this. Being in the mental health field, if someone does come in and say something like that, even if it's an offhand remark, obviously you're going to want to take action. But I mean, like as someone who does what you do, I think a lot of other interviews and things that I've read, they feel a little bit powerless because there's so much red tape and bureaucracy involved in getting anyone getting these kind of things taken care of. Like what are your procedures when something like that happens? And do you feel like they work? And do you feel like they're enough?
Well, I think that in a way I'm fortunate or unfortunate, but I do work with serious mental illnesses. So it's taken very seriously. We've seen, that they are either homicidal or suicidal. So we can easier, the red tape isn't as thick, I guess. If I say, hey, I see these symptoms and you need to be hospitalized, hopefully they'll take my words for it. Or if not, then, we do call and we get them hospitalized anyway. But of course you would rather them go because they said, I'd like to go. I have some stuff going on.
Yeah. Is it easy to get someone institutionalized if you personally feel that they are a danger to themselves or others?
Yes.
Okay. And
And I work with veterans though, so it is a little different. I'm in a hospital setting.
Mm-hmm. Do you have experience kind of in the public civilian world?
Yeah, I did work law enforcement and in the military, and it is different, unfortunately. And I didn't have the training at that time that I have now. So I was one of those people that didn't realize, this person is having a panic attack. To me, you're just acting weird. What is going on with you? But now looking back, I'm like, oh, well, maybe they could have had some help. And instead, here I am being, what are you doing? Why is this happening?
Stop being the way you are.
Right. Stop being how you are.
Now, do you think in the civilian world it's as easy as it is kind of, obviously you're in a hospital, you've got, the government stuff that going on there as well. But do you think it's as easy to get someone institutionalized or at least put into a 24, 48, 72 hour hold, without their permission in that situation? And would you say that mental health professionals in the civilian world might be a little bit more reticent because there are some far reaching repercussions of that?
I think each individual is different. Even with your training, if you're in an environment where you see crisis all the time, you can very easily push it to the side because it's happening for you every day. So you may not take it as serious as it should be taken. And with law enforcement, unfortunately, it is more difficult. They don't have that licensure that says, okay, I have training in this. I can testify that this is what's going on. So then they have to call us or someone else. And there is a lot of red tape, and that's really unfortunate.
Very interesting. All right, Josh's, what do you guys think?
Man, you take this one, Josh. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you,
I think that it's pretty much, what everybody thought as far as it being mental health and stuff like that. Obviously, if you have somebody telling you that they're going to do something that is terrible, you're going to take it serious or whatever. But like she when she was talking about kids and stuff, well, how old is that? Because
let's use Parkland as an example. He's a high school teenager.
But obviously, like if a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you," like you're just like, yeah, whatever.
Right. But that's ability and opportunity at play there.
There's some people in the news that get shot by the parents get shot by their kids all the time. Because they had a loaded, J-frame in their purse or whatever. Not it was intentional or whatever. But anyway, but mental health wise though, I will say this. The amount of stuff that we shove down our kids' throats as far as like Adderall and all these antidepressants and stuff though, man, you can't overlook that. You can't say, oh, well, these things don't have side effects. These things do have side effects. And you could say it's, video games and all this other stuff, but is it really? Is it not what we're putting into their bodies as far as like these chemicals and stuff?
Yeah, perhaps, like, I'm not an archaeologist or anything, but I believe that kind of these antidepressants and things probably don't have the best effect on kids, and they probably do remove some of the mental, I don't know, blocks that we have towards committing some of these atrocities. But I mentioned a little while ago, I've come out and I've said, like, look, our mental health system generally is a disaster. It's really tough for the people who are in these positions, like Lisa. I'm glad that she has the ability to do this stuff, but a lot of the other people I've talked to, they feel powerless. They feel like there's just too much red tape bureaucracy, and people are they're able to get away. Saying,
what was the guy that shot the place up in was it Texas? The
church?
The church where he didn't even get flagged or anything because somebody in the the Air Force or whatever didn't do their job or something.
He should have been in NICS and he wasn't, and someone didn't do their job in the Air Force, and they're working on that. And that's cool too. But and this study says, like, look, 22% of these people who committed mass killings were diagnosed with mental health disorders. The other 88% were not. And I think that's huge. And I think that means that we really need to watch for these precursors that they've come out with, like 5 precursors that they said these people shared in general. And I think that's huge.
You said take measures to make sure. So basically, that's not, what can we do to prevent these guys from killing people? What can we do to prevent these guys from killing people. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to carry every day, carry everywhere we go, carry in places that have signs that say you can't carry here. You know, screw that. I'm going to carry wherever I'm going to go. It doesn't matter what the sign says. I don't care. As long as I'm, not in a courthouse or whatever, which, hey, I'm not telling you to break the law or anything.
Yeah. I mean, you're adults. You guys make your own decisions. Do what you want. I'll just tell you this. If I'm ever watching a movie at a movie theater, it is not a gun-free zone. That's what I choose to do. I know what the repercussions are in my state. I know the legal ramifications. I know, I know all that stuff, and I make that decision. I would never recommend anyone else do that, but I would recommend they take the information that they have available to them. They take a look at the pros and cons and the repercussions of the real world, and then they make that decision individually for them.
Right.
But yeah, I think that really a lot of what this article says basically is that we need to speak up, that these people are doing things and we need to speak up. But I also want to point out and maybe get you guys' opinion on, does that mean if someone says something in jest or they're like, man, I'm going to kill you? Like I threatened to kill my business partner, Aaron, today. It was, yeah. But it was like, dude, if you shoot me with that pepper ball gun, I will kill you.
Should we be wondering about you now?
We got to report you, man.
Yeah.
I guess you can talk
after this.
That is the question, is like, how do we know? I mean, yeah, okay, people realized it, but I don't think people realized or thought that these people that they heard say these things were going to go through and murder a bunch of people. Like, where do you draw the line? Are we raising a society of narcs? And do we actually think that that's the answer? Lisa, thoughts on that?
I can't say. I will say that I do talk to my kids about mental illnesses and certain things to look for, but even in your behaviors, so with yours, you're probably like, I'm going to kill you, but if someone says, I'm going to kill you, there's difference. There's a different demeanor that someone has, or if they're constantly doing other things, there are other symptoms that are going to be, you should be aware of besides just, I'm going to kill you, So being aware of that, but I mean, to be a narc, hey, if a narc is going to get my kid from not getting killed at a school shooting, then yeah, be a narc. I don't care. I'm
like, snitches get stitches, but at the same time, all right.
But they don't get shot. So
exactly. I do want to read this. I do want to read this. It says the FBI study found that on average, each active shooter it examined displayed 4 to 5 concerning behaviors over time. About 1 in 3 shooters had made threats or confronted people that they later targeted. More than half of them revealed their intentions to do something violent, a phenomenon called leakage. Some of these attackers did not share their intentions with their eventual victims, but instead expressed a broader desire to hurt others. One shooter spoke to a gas station clerk about killing a family, the study found. Another cited a desire to be a sniper. Others had shown concerning behavior or had multiple stresses in their lives, including one shooter who the study said was being abused at home, had conflicts with his peers, and was facing discipline for abusing a teacher. There was no single warning sign, checklist, or algorithm for assessing behaviors that suggest a potential rampage killer, but they say the study is meant in part to help members of the public keep an eye out for warning signs. So,
I will say this, okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, if we're having these kids, say these kids, young adults, whatever you want to call them, let's say we have these kids that are, I'm having trouble with my, whoever, and I want to beat them up or I want to kill them or whatever. Back in the day, we used to get our butt whooped basically for acting out or whatever. That's what happened. It wasn't, my dad spanked me, so now I'm going to go shoot him. Like that wasn't the mentality. And something has changed over a course of time to where it's not just like, I mean, even, okay, I was watching wrestling the other day, okay? And even in that, there was guys in there acting crazy because he didn't get his way, you know what I'm saying? And it was okay because he just beat the crap out of somebody for not getting his way. And it's just like, in things like that, they see those things. And it's not, I mean, it happens everywhere. And it happens in movies, and it happens in TV, and it happens everywhere. So they see those things happen, and then they see, oh, well, this is a glorification of that. And he goes to shoot somebody, and then he's getting glorified on TV, and his name's everywhere. And, well, this is how I want people to see me or whatever, So, I mean, I think that's a very good possibility that could happen. That might be the reason, too. I don't know.
Yep. All right.
But with that, weren't you also taught how to cope with that? Now we give out the awards for everybody, but you were taught, okay, if you do this wrong, you need to do this right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I think that that's part of it too.
Yeah.
Totally. Next story is the one we kind of mentioned earlier. California man sets fire to target first responders and kills fire captain. All right. So there's like an old age, what's it called? Old age home. It's Covenant Manor. It's an apartment complex for low income senior citizens. Someone set a fire, and when firefighters showed up, he shot them, killed the captain, injured the other firefighter. The suspected shooter was in custody. The person's identity wasn't released. They don't exactly know what happened, but just more targeting of first responders. And I constantly battle with this because I don't know if is it the 24-hour news cycle that is just more prevalent in our psyche, in the gestalt of what we see every day, or is it really that first responders are being targeted just a little bit more? Do you guys have thoughts on that? Lisa, I'll start with you.
I will say that we used to have more news on positive, and now it's more on negative. But I definitely think that they are being targeted more. And unfortunately, how do you fix that? Your job is to go out to a fire, and now you're going to get shot. It's insane. I mean, are we going to have police force come out first, and then the house is going to be wrecked? I don't know. That's unfortunate.
I totally agree. Josh's?
I think we need to arm our first responders, train them and arm them. And I think that will eliminate anybody targeting them.
Yep.
Yeah. I think everyone should be armed personally. First responders, second responders, third responders, kindergartners, whatever.
Yep. I agree.
Kindergartners.
It kind of hits at home with me because my dad is a retired fire chief.
Yeah, man.
So, I mean, not only now, people are targeting police, which is bad enough. Now they're going to see this and see that this happened, and now they're going to start targeting everybody else too. I mean, it's bad all around, but I'm saying, like, at least police have guns and they can fight back, so to speak, if they see it coming.
Yeah.
But firemen, what they go spray them with a hose?
Honestly, that would be fairly effective if they could see it coming and have time to set up and do it.
True.
I mean, why would you go out on a call if you're fearing for your life? I mean,
why would you even go into the profession?
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, if we want to continue to have people grow up in those professions and continue to put jobs into those professions,
yep,
we're going to have to do something, because, I mean, people will not continue to, proceed.
I didn't see a reason in the article. What was the reasoning? No reasoning at all?
No, nothing reported so far. I did a little bit of research before the show. I couldn't find any updates on the story whatsoever. But I've got concerns. So the 24-hour news cycle it has been an amazing thing, but also, in my opinion, a bad thing for our culture. So we, statistically and historically, this is the safest time to have ever been alive. We are safer. We are healthier. There is less crime. There is less violent crime. This is the best time in history to be alive right now. And you can go find reports and studies that will tell you exactly that. It is the safest time ever. However, in our nation right now, we have this huge debate and argument going on because a couple of maniacs walked into schools, walked into churches, walked into places, and decided to end as many lives as they possibly could. Yep. And even though we live in the safest times possible, and that these mass killings are statistical anomalies because they happen so infrequently, because of the 24-hour news cycle, because of the mainstream media and the way they sensationalize all these issues, we've ended up where this is a huge topic in our country, where statistically it shouldn't be. I mean, kids with cell phones are more dangerous than kids with AR-15s.
Well, the thing is that I didn't even know half of these stories had happened. So, like, when I listen to this podcast is when I hear these things, and you hear stuff that fits their narrative, but other than that, they don't care.
Yeah. And so my worry is that maybe it's the same kind of phenomena and scenario with a lot of these first responders being targeted. They see that people care about this. They see that people care about first responders. So anytime they see first responders being targeted in any way, they immediately throw that into their news cycle. So my fear is this, that we do that. And now, like with mass killings, we've got this whole nationwide debate going on right now. And we're going to see it with this thing too. I think in the next 5-10 years, we're going to see a huge crisis in people not wanting to be firefighters, and people not wanting to be paramedics, and people not wanting to be police officers because they're going to feel like they're targeted. And I don't know at this point if it's actually happening, if it's true, or if it's just the mainstream media and the news cycle because they think that people care about these certain topics. Do you guys have an opinion on that?
We were talking about the other day. We were talking about, knowing these guys that go out and do these jobs that don't get paid enough. First of all, first responders don't get paid enough. Policemen, firemen, EMS, all those guys, they don't get paid enough, man, at all. I know firsthand because, like I said, my dad's a retired fire chief. And we were talking about people, me and him were talking about people going and working for the money carriers and stuff like that. And they're armed guards or whatever. And they get paid what, like $11, $12 an hour to guard money with their life. Like, I'm not doing that, dude. No way.
Especially now, like first responders. I mean, they're going to see this and they're going to be like, well, I thought about being a paramedic and screw that now,
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I think in places we're already seeing people not signing up for these tough jobs, these first responder jobs, and I think we're going to see even more of it. Lisa, do you have any thoughts on this topic?
I don't know. I think it's definitely an issue that needs to be reviewed. I will say in some areas there are public safety officers, so they are armed and they are responders and police officers. So they at least have a little more training, but even still, to have that type of training when you're going into a fire, you're going to be thinking fire. You're not going to be thinking, what if somebody shoots me in the back as I'm running?
Yeah, that's huge. Huge point. 550 guns seized from California felon's home. All right. So in my snitches get stitches path here, one of their neighbors reported that this person had a lot of guns. They showed up and found 432 firearms at the suspect's house. They served a search warrant at a woman connected to the person. 30 more were found, and then they served another warrant for another place and found a bunch more. So over 550 guns. This person is a felon. Let's see. In 2017, he was sentenced to 486 days in jail for an unspecified felony. Regardless of how you feel about felons and firearm and gun rights and things like that, man, to be a felon and collect 550 guns, that seems a little bit risky to me. A lot of stuff to unpack here. I want to give you guys a chance to talk.
I think that, technically he's a felon, so technically is against the law.
Yep.
But not saying that he got all those guns after he was a felon. I'm sure that he's been collecting those for a while. It's a big collection, and it didn't look like all ARs or all.
I'm looking at the picture. I see 3 Mosin Nagants like right off the top of my head.
Right. I'm imagining that he's been a collector for a little while. So,
me and a local law enforcement officer here recently, we were talking about felonies and stuff like that. And he said, yeah, once you become a felon, they tell you, hey, you have to go turn in all your guns. It's not like they go knock on your door and they're like, hey, we're here to get everything you got. You just go turn them in. So he was probably like, all I got's a 32 ACP.
Yeah, there you go.
Get all them 439 other, pistols and rifles that I have over here. So, I'm like Josh, he may have been collecting them for a while.
Who's going to give that up? I wouldn't.
Yeah, but now he's facing God knows how much time because that's a lot of gun charges. 553 weapons alleged to belong to this person. He's going to jail for a long time. And, there's.
I think it's 5 years for each weapon.
Yeah. And, they're going to throw on add-on charges and he'll end up, plea bargaining for something else. But man, life is over at this point.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I don't understand that at all. It sucks. It's a crappy situation, but it is what it is. He is a felon for whatever reason. It didn't say the reason. It could be the fact that he had 5 pounds of cocaine in his house. You don't know that.
Yeah.
So
now, Josh, I'm going to go back. You did say that you carry even if you're not supposed to carry because screw that, you're gonna do what you want to do. So do you think in this case that you would probably do the same?
Yes.
Very cool.
And the reason for that is because I don't think that the government issues my right to protect myself.
Oh, I totally agree. And look, man, like bottom line, unless someone offers me at least $50, I'm not going to snitch on you. So your secret's safe with me.
Yeah. And that, I mean, not only that, like, I'm just there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of red tape with those things too, with the signs and stuff. I mean, going back to the signs.
Yeah, depending on where you live, for sure, there's a ton.
Yeah, and the guy that ran, or he came in and did our show for U.S. Law Shield, and that's one of our sponsors, and he was telling us about it. And there's all kinds of different stuff that they have to. The sign has to be so big, has to have the red circle with a slash, like, and the gun has to be a certain size, like it has to be a certain way, otherwise it doesn't count, basically.
So I know it's like that in Texas. Is it like that in Tennessee as well?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So in Colorado, signs hold no force of law. Yeah. So I can walk up to a Whole Foods and see their stupid little sign, and then just proceed to walk on by if that's the choice I make as a grown man. And I often do. And if they do find that I have a firearm on the premises, they can ask me to leave, which I would immediately do so without any hesitation, argument, or anything else. Because if I stay, then I could be charged with felony trespass. But yeah, they hold no force of law. If they ask me to leave and it's private property, I just leave, and that's the end of the story.
I'm pretty sure that's the way it is here. They can ask you to leave, and if you do leave, cool. If not, then they can press charges.
Yeah, Lisa,
so how would you not? Like, I don't understand that.
Yeah, no, I know.
Just go.
But my rights.
Yeah,
like, you're being detained. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Lisa.
I just walk past them because I never carry a Beretta or a revolver.
Right.
I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Exactly. Lisa, any idea what like in your place?
Because I'm not a bitch.
Well, I'm in Missouri, so we have open carry here. You might see somebody with a rifle, which is ridiculous, first off, at Walmart. Like, don't do that. Don't be that guy. But it is nice to be able to do that. And I'm right next to Illinois, where, you might get arrested for having a gun. So it's just knowing where you're at. But I'm pretty fortunate.
Yep.
So, Lisa, if you were in this guy's situation, would you have turned in all 553 of your firearms?
No, but I do agree with what Josh said earlier, because of what you don't know what he did, right? Yeah. And he's got 550 guns. How many people do you not know what they've done, and they're walking around with guns? So hopefully you probably got something to for yourself too.
Right. Next story. American Outdoor Brand sees huge decline in sales and profits. All right. I'm going to start the story off by, I guess, another soapbox moment, another soliloquy, if you will. I think that, oh, geez, I don't even know where to unpack this. All right. I think that fear and fear tactics is what sells firearms in this country. We had Barack Obama as our president for 8 years. We call him the best gun salesman in history. And I think that's a completely valid statement and characterization. When people are afraid, they spend their money. Donald Trump comes into office, people are less afraid, people spend less money. We've seen it. We see it all the time. We see the National Rifle Association and their fundraising endeavors. We see them use those fear tactics constantly. We see all the stuff that Ackerman McQueen puts in to help raise money for the NRA, and all of it is fear-based. Having said that, now we see Smith & Wesson sales plunge. This is in CNN Money. And if you read this article, you'll see that they dropped. And then the stock price of American Outdoor Brands dropped 6% on Thursday. Sturm Ruger fell 5%. And the share price for Vista Outdoor, which we talked about with Blackhawk, they dropped 2%. If you read a little further, their earnings statements, they expected earnings, their forecast was earnings statements of 3 cents per share, but they actually came in at 14 cents per share. So I speculate that this is all fear tactics. Their sales may be down, but if they're returning 3, 6, 9, 12 over 400% return on their earnings forecasts, it can't actually be that bad. Do you think that maybe they're just using those same fear tactics that we've seen so often in the Second Amendment community? Do you think they're just kind of using that to their advantage to try to sell more guns? Or do you think maybe the firearms industry is actually in danger? Whoever wants to go first.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I say watch out for what's going to happen next.
What do you mean by that?
Maybe another Parkland, maybe another, church.
Mhm.
maybe watch for what's going to happen next, because I guarantee it'll be a big story that'll make people say, "Oh, they're coming for our guns now. Oh,
Yeah.
we're going to go buy stuff."
Now, you said you're not a conspiracy theorist, and then you immediately said something that proves that you are a conspiracy theorist.
Well, I'm not 100%. I will say that, stuff like that makes you think, though, man. I mean, how could that happen? And then you see this happen, and then you see it happen time and time and time again.
Yeah.
And, and not click, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know, Lisa. Do you think it's scare tactics, or do you think the industry's down and they just, maybe forecast way lower than they thought and then, knocked it out of the park? I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there.
I think it's kind of like watching two different news stories, right? Because you had that one, and then a little bit later, I read another article about rifles and how they're pushing rifles and they're at an all-time high. I think it even said it's like Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah.
Yes. Off that, but yeah, because you can spend $6 and trade in parts, or $600 and still trade in all these parts, and really it depends. What manufacturer is it? How much research is really being done, and how are you displaying it? Is it down, or is that one certain company down?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, NICS checks are up, and they're not up just a little bit. They're up quite a bit as far as, background checks being done for the new purchases of firearms or purchases between people in places with universal background check laws. So yeah, I don't know. It's really tough. And I think there's a lot to unpack here. I don't know what the real answer is. I just wonder if maybe some of these companies try to use those same fear tactics that the National Rifle Association uses in their fundraising to try to drive people to go out there. It didn't work for the Hearing Protection Act. Silencer Co's in dire straits. Looks like they're going to be restructuring to stay out of Chapter 11 or 7.
So that's for that.
Say again?
So that's why he went to Blackhawk.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I mean, he was let go. And I think that was specifically due to the fact that he was pushing so hard for the HPA, which basically gutted the suppressor industry.
So
because
he took a step down to go to Blackhawk.
Yeah. So it's tough. I don't really know what the answer is, but as
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, as thinking people, we need to think about these things. We need to read this news and actually kind of dig a little deeper, read into the article, and make choices for ourselves. Because I don't know if they're using fear tactics to sell us firearms, or if they're honestly down. It's really tough to tell, and these numbers can be illustrated in so many different ways. So just something for us as consumers to think about.
I will say this, we've said on our show before, if the NRA wasn't there, then we'd probably be in a crappier situation than what we are now. I'm an NRA member.
So am I.
NRA member.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to make somebody fight for it. Otherwise you're not going to have anybody fighting for it.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think the GOA's done anything.
GOA, FPC, they're all basically fundraising organizers that collect money and then fight certain things. Like, I am an NRA member. I will continue to be an NRA member. I will vote in the board of director elections. I will make my displeasure known. Look, I'm not always happy with the people in my family, and when I'm not, I let them know, and then we work things out. Right. It's the same with the NRA.
I almost quit when Adam didn't get elected, but other than that.
I know, like, bottom line, like, we need the NRA, we need lobbyists. The other side has lobbyists. And if we just decide to take our biggest lobbying organization and throw them away, like, what do you think we're going to win? No, we're not going to win. We have to have lobbying organizations, and we have to have better and bigger lobbying organizations than the other side does, because without them, we don't win. So I'm
not going to say, throw away the NRA or whatever, ban the NRA. Obviously we need them. So
yeah, without
my opinion, like, get in there and vote for who you want. And, if make them accountable for what they're doing, and if you're not happy with it, change it, because you can change it.
Yep, without question. It takes time, it takes effort and energy, and a lot of us, I think, just want to complain sometimes. So I try to be consistent in my message. I'm a member. I'm staying a member. It doesn't mean I'm happy with everything they do.
Right.
In our I'm offended segment, 2 stories. Why gun makers would rather sell AR-15s instead of handguns. This is from Bloomberg, so it's not going to have any slant whatsoever. But basically, it says that there's more Lisa said the Mr. Potato Head thing, it's specifically from this article, that you can buy a part from $4 for the little accurizing wedge all the way to a complete upper for 600, something like that. And look, yeah, obviously there's a huge, not just market for AR-15s after the ban. This talks about the ban and the explosion up to 70% after the ban expired. And yeah, AR-15s, it's easier for them to charge more for them. There's way more aftermarket parts for them. Handguns, there's not a whole lot of room for anyone to make money selling those. So yes, they're definitely, there's a lot of reasons for companies to make them. Thoughts?
Your name is Jesse James.
Yeah,
for like $4,000 a piece.
Yeah. There's so many companies like Proof Research. Their rifles are outrageous. Falcor Defense, their rifles are outrageous. They're great, but they're expensive. Lisa, thoughts on this?
I do 3-gunning, so I love my rifle. It is an expensive rifle, but I love Mr. Potato Head.
Same. It's like adult Legos.
Yeah. I think it's awesome. And really, even in the military, if you're a back office person, you're still getting a rifle. So, you're going to learn how to shoot it. So they're definitely, that's why I wasn't so sure about the statistics earlier, because they're prevalent, they're needed, or they're used and bought.
Yeah, I love them. I'm glad companies want to sell them because I love them. Like I literally have 3 lowers that I just got in sitting on my couch in my office. I've got 2 more lowers that are halfway assembled in the other room for a 450 Bushmaster and a 224 Valkyrie. Like I love AR-15s. They're the most fun that I have putting together and assembling. They're the most fun that I have to shoot. And yeah, I'm glad they're profitable for the companies. It makes sense that if they can get a bigger profit margin on an item, that they're going to sell that item.
Yep. I can't tell you how many we've put together.
Right here on this table.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I mean, Josh likes AKs though. I mean, I don't know if that has anything to do with the ARs or whatever, but I mean, I imagine that it's whatever they tell you not to do. Like they were talking about the boom and everything like that right after. Well, of course it's going to be a boom right afterwards.
Yeah.
They tell you couldn't buy one for 10 years or whatever, however long it lasted. And of course you're going to go buy one. It's just like anything else.
New Jersey's come out and they want to raise some rates. The New Jersey governor wants to raise the cost of buying and selling guns, and not just a little bit. So
it's like I hear New Jersey on this thing every day. On every podcast, I hear something about New Jersey.
I know, man. So the plan would raise the cost for handgun purchase permits from $2 to $50. You have to have a permit to buy a gun in Jersey, apparently. Firearms ID cards from $5 to $100. Handgun carry permits from $50 to $400. Retail gun dealer licenses from $50 to $500, and wholesale manufacturer licenses from $150 to $1,500, amongst other hikes. And all I say to that is, wow, he must actually hate minorities, because these Jim Crow style laws completely exclude poor people from the naturally given right of self-defense. And damn it, this is ridiculous.
Well, if you like it, then stay there. If not, move. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
I've got something to say about that. Lisa, thoughts on this one?
It makes me really appreciate Missouri.
I can imagine. Oh, what a disaster. But I mean, so look, Magpul abandoned ship in Colorado, and guess what? We still can go into any store in town and buy 30-round magazines. They're just, they take the base plate off in the spring and whatnot. And guess what? In all the time that we've had this stupid law in place since July 1st, 2013, only one person has ever been charged with, what they call excessive capacity magazine. And it was an add-on charge to, multiple felony charges, and it was eventually dropped. So no one's ever been successfully prosecuted, and only one person's been charged in 5 years.
What I don't understand is, what do they think is going to happen? Like you're gonna shoot 10 rounds and you're just gonna reload. So yeah. What is the difference?
Yeah. So for New Jersey, like, guys, I mean, if your firearms ID card, or let's say your handgun purchase permit that you have to buy a gun in New Jersey, it goes from $2 to $50. Does that stop you?
No.
Lisa, does that stop you?
Well, it depends.
No, I mean, but like you said, that is really working on those minorities who can't. That's unfortunate. Yeah, it's not. I mean, minorities, poor people, whatever. Like, okay, so if someone's buying a High Point because that's the gun they can afford, and it's $160, and now they've got to pay $210. Like,
there are people, a lot of people, I know people that is too much to overcome. You cannot do it. And when we put laws in place like that, it just boggles my mind, especially for those people that would be completely excluded from defending themselves with their naturally given right of self-defense and self-preservation, to vote these people in office. Doesn't make any sense to me. Maj Touré, Tony Simon, Argo J, Kevin Dixie, all those guys doing great, fantastic work. And I know that they see this and they see exactly what it is for what it is.
If you like that, stay in New Jersey, please. If you don't like that, move to the South. That's all I got to say.
Our full auto news segment is stories the real media won't talk about. We all pick one and we all talk about it. I'm going to start out with JH.
What was my name?
I can't remember what it was.
Man asks for help at hospital emergency room, then shoots himself in the chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand that. I mean, you go in, you ask for help, and you turn around and shoot yourself. And I don't get that. I mean, what kind of jackwagon would do that? I mean, what kind of jackwagon would do that in a place, where
maybe he
you're taking away from people that actually need help.
Yeah. If you're going to be that dumb, stay at home.
Yeah, if you're going to be that dumb, stay home. Just wait for the meat truck to drive by or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't get it
like that. But I mean, like, there's people that are in the emergency room that actually need help. I can't tell you all the times where I've been in and a guy's, complaining about chest pains, and they're like, well, we got to help this guy that broke his toe first,
Yeah. That triage process is a little bit broken.
Yeah.
I guess maybe he was just like, well, I've got indigestion and they're not seeing me fast enough, so I'm going to give them something to see me about.
Bam!
I'm just going to eat
that'll get him working quicker.
Idiot. Josh Courtney.
He should just went for the arm, or maybe like the ankle.
Or maybe
because that's not attempted murder.
Yeah.
Waited a couple hours. I don't know. Idiot. Josh Courtney, what's your story?
Let's see. Let's see. ATF agent gives probation gets given probation for photographing women in a public bathroom. Why is the guy not? Well, actually, I when I read the article, I was like, why is this guy not fired? That was like my very first thought is, why is this guy not fired? And then it ended up the guy was fired. But the funny thing is that you got these guys that are supposed to be enforcing these laws, right? And then you have these weird, like everybody's a perv on their own. I mean, let's be real. Everybody's a perv.
Yeah.
But to actually act upon it and be in a position to where you're in the ATF out of all things, I don't understand. I don't understand how you could. I don't know.
We've got FBI agents doing backflips and their gun falls out and they shoot somebody. They got the ATF guy taking nasty pictures in bathrooms. I don't know.
It's obviously not working out for the FBI or ATF. So why don't they just pack it up and go home?
Yeah, we'll abolish both of them and just move on with life.
Yeah, I agree.
Lisa, what was your story?
Mother of a 14-year-old shoots an intruder. I guess he was talking to the 14-year-old daughter. Wasn't he like 40 or something? Talking to from what was it? New Zealand?
Yeah, New Zealand. New
Zealand. Are you making fun of my southern accent right now?
No, I was making fun of New Zealand's accent.
Josh is way worse than me. I heard it.
New Zealand. It's all there.
Yeah, what's even worse is somebody on Instagram said he was from New Zealand, and I was like, no, I just read this story. But high five to mom, right? She said, hey, I'm armed. You need to go away. And he still stayed, and she shot him. And he laid out on the floor. I mean, high five. Good job.
That's exactly what she should have done.
Yeah, I'm like, if you're going to Bill Cosby somebody, this is the price you pay.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, stand your ground.
Yep. Speaking of the South, we have that, stand your ground rule, So basically, you don't have to retreat to the furthest corner in your house. You don't have to give the guy 3 warnings or whatever the hell they make you do.
Yeah.
You literally, the guy comes up to you, you feel threatened, you don't have to back down for nothing. You just blow his head off.
Right.
Yep. And
or you can shoot him in the chest and apply, medical attention if you want.
if you so choose. Yeah. So this, I mean, he's 25, the girl's 14. So yeah, the mom was like, you know what? Not on my clock, not on my watch.
Correct.
I think that's good. All right, guys, that will do it for the content for the news stories in the show. I actually want to talk to you guys a little bit. This is you guys' first time on the show. So Lisa, I'm going to start with you. Tell us like all the cool stuff that you're up to and where people can find you.
Oh, well, other than working in mental health, I do 3-gun. I've been doing it for about 6 months now. It's awesome. So much fun. So I highly recommend doing that. I also do a lot of benefit fundraisers. I am currently raising tents for homeless veterans. So it's a program where you will donate a tent, and then once they finally get housed, it will be cleaned and go to another veteran, which has started so many other things. You know, it started with tents, and now they're sending in cots to go with the tents, and that's awesome. And last year I did bicycles for veterans. So the ones who are trying to get back on their feet, get back to work, and they don't have any transportation. This is a really rural area, so we have no public transportation. So yeah, we accept donations for both of those.
That's very cool. Where can people do donations and find your 3-gun stuff and all that?
You can find me on Instagram at lisa.edwards0024.
All right, very cool. And how can people donate to those causes?
If they shoot me an email, I'll give them an address.
All right, very cool. So just get in touch with you on Instagram, and then you can hook them up.
Absolutely, yeah.
Very cool. Lisa, thanks so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure to meet you.
You too.
Now, I'll start with JC. You know, what have you been up to? Tell us about the YouTube channel, the holster company, and where people can find you guys.
Well, basically, we are on we're on Instagram as Black Diamond Holsters and Black Diamond Guns and Gear. We're on Facebook as Black Diamond Holsters, Black Diamond Guns and Gear. Man, we've just been trying to push as much content out there as possible. We both work 40-hour plus week, jobs, so it's hard for us to get out there and do as much as we can. But we're hanging in there pretty strong with our subscribers and stuff like that. On our Facebook, we do a Facebook live stream every week, and we do at least one show a week during the summertime. And when it gets a little bit colder and everybody's kind of doing this inside their house, we're doing 2 shows a week usually. And gotta attack my bug.
You guys also do some dancing, right?
yeah, we do dancing.
You do dancing and dry firing. I'm like, yes, I stalked you guys on Instagram.
But yeah, we try to do as much YouTube as possible. So Black Diamond Guns and Gear on YouTube, Black Diamond Guns and Gear on Facebook. If you want to see the live streams, like and subscribe to the Facebook, get the notifications for that, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram too if you like that kind of thing.
Very nice. Now, Josh H., I'm going to give you the last word, buddy.
We started this as 2 friends and stuff like that, and I hope we end it that way. But we both we're both 2A guys. I started, learning about guns and stuff like that in the military. Spent 15 years. I'm a DOD civilian now. I've retired from the Army medically, and I'm doing the DOD civilian side, and I absolutely love doing this stuff. I love serving my country. So
I'll be honest with you, he's the numbers and the brains behind it all. I'm just kind of the guy that likes to shoot things.
Yeah.
So he knows how far something's got to go out before it dips down, or how to put an AR together. I'm just like, we get to shoot stuff. Cool, let's go.
Right.
So. But as far as the holsters and stuff go, man, you can message us on Facebook for the holsters and stuff like that. We don't have a website, which we need to get, and we don't have a Patreon, which we need to get. But it is what it is. So
everything
just Facebook if you want to get a hold of us.
I love it. Go check out all these guys. Go check out Lisa and all the cool stuff they're doing. And honestly, great show. Appreciate you guys being here. Check out our advertisers, Manticore Arms and Patriot Patch Company. For Manticore Arms at manticorearms.com. It's coupon code TWG10. I recommend their muzzle devices. If you've got AK, check out their AK parts, and their transformer rails for ARs are amazing. Bottom line, This Week in Guns is produced by Kenny Ortega and is a production of the Firearms Radio Network. And we will talk to you all next week.
I didn't want to blind you.